Push-ups have a long history as a fundamental exercise for building strength and endurance. They are widely practiced and respected for their simplicity and effectiveness. In this video, we'll break down the basics of push-up form, key training tips, and progressions to help you master your first push-up. Now let's get started by covering the very first chapter, the scapula. Scapula awareness is key for building your superhuman strength. There are four main functions of the scapula that we'll cover today. The first one being scapular elevation. You'll see I'm reaching out high and my shoulders are basically over my ears. The second one is scapular depression, where you bring your shoulders away from your ears. The third is scapular retraction, where you push your shoulder blades together. And finally, the fourth one is scapular protraction, where you push your shoulder blades away from you. Having knowledge of where your scapula is the best way for you to avoid injury when doing calisthenic movements, so you want to practice doing scapular exercises whenever you can. And the best exercise for mastering the push-up is going to be the scapular push-up. Look how I move smoothly from retraction to protraction. You can do this along with me. Start on your knees and make sure you push out with straight arms, pushing your shoulder blades away from you, then letting them retract and touch at the bottom of the rep. Doing scapular push-ups on your knees is a great way to start for beginners, but if you're more advanced, you'll definitely want to get into a plank-like position. When performing this movement, aim to do 2 to 3 working sets of 8 to 12 reps. Moving on to chapter 2. Proper body position. Start off by placing your hands on the ground shoulder length. Spread your fingers out and begin to rotate your hands slightly to avoid any wrist pain. Think about turning your arms to lock them in place like so. Next, begin to depress your scapula or unshrug your shoulders away from your ears. You'll notice that now your chest is forward. You'll want to protract your scapula or push your shoulder blades away from you. Begin to place one foot back and lock it in place by squeezing the muscles. Do the same thing for the second foot. Lean forward onto your toes. You'll now notice you have a perfect straight line. Lean forward slightly on the decline. The middle of your chest should be aligned with the middle of your fingers, and you're going to keep that stable straight line position as you press back up into neutral. Take note that you must retract your scapula at the bottom of the rep and protract your scapula at the top of the rep. Moving on to chapter 3, breathing. Breathing is critical for all exercises, and push-ups are no exception. We need to make sure we're constantly breathing so oxygen is delivered to our muscles and brain. As far as the perfect breathwork pattern, inhale on the negative of the exercise and exhale as you explode to the top. You want to follow this pattern for all of your pushing exercises. This ensures proper oxygen. Moving forward to chapter 4, where should we look? As you set up for the perfect push-up, you'll notice that you're mostly looking at the ground. Start to tilt your head up so you're looking slightly in front of you. Perform your push-ups as normal until your chin slightly touches the ground or hovers above it. On to chapter 5. What should it feel like? The push-up is a simple exercise that works many muscles. It works your shoulders primarily, along with your chest, and never forget your abdominal muscles as well. And it also touches on the triceps. But even though those are the muscles that are being primarily worked, you can actually activate the rest of your muscles on the lower body portion. This is going to help you keep that straight line and maintain stillness throughout. As far as the pressure in your hands, when it comes to any of these bent arm positions, like the pike push-up or the regular push-up, you'll feel most of the pressure on these 3 fingers when you're pressing. Chapter 6. How can we properly train the push-up? If you're starting from absolutely zero, you need to start with wall push-ups. Wall push-ups are a great starter exercise, and they directly transfer to the form used on the ground. But we've also combined these wall push-ups with something else. That's going to be the negative incline push-up. This is when we just work the negative portion of the rep. We're going to maintain that straight line and keep proper form, and make sure to decline for at least 4 to 6 seconds to be counted as 1 rep. Ending off our level 1 workout with knee push-ups. As you can see, I'm keeping my toes on the ground and I'm pressing up using the exact same proper form that we've talked about. I'm squeezing my glutes, going full range of motion, and I'm retracting my scapula at the bottom of the rep and protracting at the top. Moving on to the level 2 workout. We're going to start off doing incline push-ups now that we've built some strength. Choose whichever level incline you're comfortable with. And we're going to take our knee push-ups one step further. As you can see, the modification here is that we're going to be mostly balancing on our knee here. So we're going to have more pressure into our hands and it's going to be more of a challenge. And the last exercise for level 2 is going to be straight on negative push-ups. Again, we're using that 4 to 6 second eccentric every single time for every single rep, making sure our form does not diminish throughout the entirety of the exercise. If you've made it to level 3, then you can definitely bank out a couple of regular push-ups from now on, but we want to solidify the exercise even further and make sure it stays with us forever. The second exercise for level 3 is going to be bent arm holds. This is going to get us stronger in the bottom portion of the rep and make pressing back up child's play. Each of these levels is a daily workout that you should perform 2 to 3 times a week over the next 1 to 2 months before before progressing to the next level. Please make sure to rest for 90 seconds in between each set and take a 48-hour rest in between each workout. Moving on to Chapter 7, the most common issues you'll face. The first and easily most notorious one is skipping out on range of motion. You're only getting stronger through that middle range of motion, and we need to start training that full range of motion. The full range of joint mobility strength is going to be key when mastering the handstand, the L-sit, or any kind of planche maneuver in calisthenics. The second one is going to be flaring elbows. If you do push-ups like this, I want you to stop it immediately. This is going to put a severe amount of stress on your joints, specifically your shoulder and elbows. As a quick and easy solution, I want you guys to tuck your elbows towards your body. You'll feel your chest more, and it's a more natural pushing pattern. The third one's going to be sinking hips, and when you do push-ups like this, you're basically humping the floor. Guys, we need to make sure that we're activating our core properly. No lazy cores. Bring it in line with the rest of your body and maintain that stillness throughout the duration that you're performing a push-up. The fourth one is wrist pain. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I suggest you invest in parallettes, which are these push-up bars that calisthenic athletes use. They keep your hand in a fixed position, only moving forward and back, preventing that 360-degree movement your wrists usually have. They're inexpensive and honestly just a great tool to have inside your gym bag. But you could also use dumbbells or just do push-ups on your knuckles, and that'd basically be the same thing. Chapter 8. How long is this all going to take? The time it takes to get your first push-up could vary depending on your age, fitness level, and training routine. However, I do have some rough estimates that I've drummed up. It's safe to say if you're a little on the younger side, anywhere from 10 to 19 or 20 to 30 years of age, you should have no problem getting one and honestly even a couple of push-ups within your first 1 to 3 months. Of course, this is as long as you're following a consistent routine. But if you're anywhere in the 40 to 60 range and you have zero workout experience, it's going to take you a little bit more time, like 4 to 6 months, because you may need longer recovery time. Moving on to Chapter 9, progressing even further. It may not seem like it now, but eventually push-ups will become too easy, and you'll be seeking new stimulus along the way. So let's look at a few variations for that time. Starting with the diamond push-up, you're basically making a diamond with your hands and performing the push-up as regular. The diamond push-up is a true staple and nice progression of the regular push-up. It's widely known for its increased tricep activation. The next one's going to be the pike push-up. This is going to be the movement pattern that you follow for the pike. It's similar to a military press, except you're inverted. Your head falls above your hands on the decline and you push up and out through your shoulders on the incline. The pike push-up is a prerequisite for the handstand push-up, and it delivers a tremendous amount of overhead pushing strength for the user. Just like with a regular push-up, it has its flaws that people exploit. You definitely don't want to keep your elbows flared like you see me doing here. Instead, go for that tucked elbow position. The next variation would be the archer push-up, and as you can see, it's an archer position that you're basically replicating to the ground. The best thing about these variations is that it's a great way to gain strength when the regular push-ups have gotten too easy or simply gotten too boring. And you don't have to start with the full archer. You can start off by doing half archer push-ups like you see me doing here. I'm keeping that slight bend in my elbow, and I'm still building tremendous strength. But if variations aren't your thing, another method you can use to increase your strength is slowing down the tempo. See how I slow down my tempo on the top portion and most importantly the bottom portion of the rep? More time under tension, I'm recruiting more muscle fibers to complete the simple exercise that was easy for me previously. You can use this method for pretty much any exercise. If it gets too easy, slow down. You can also add any weighted or resistance bands to your exercises, and that's going to do wonders for your strength as well as your size. Whenever you add further resistance to your movements, mass is the reward. Another method is increasing the range of motion. I'm using parallettes here, but you could use benches or boxes. You can watch me here and see how I go further past the normal range of motion to what we call a deficit. A great way to build and earn more joint mobility and joint strength, whilst also reaping the benefits of size and stature. Increase the range of motion and you're going to increase your gains. It's only natural. And lastly, when you see people doing those half push-ups, there actually is a place for them. And that place is when your form breaks down and you're seeking failure. After perfect or strict form breaks down, do shorties until you locate the failure spot. Now let's review what we learned about push-ups today. We covered the basics of form, including proper body position and breathing. We discussed different progression levels, starting from modified push-ups to regular push-ups. We also highlighted common issues and their solutions. Remember, consistency and strict form is always going to be key when mastering calisthenics. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment if you have any questions about your journey. Go to STRIQfit.com to check out my training app and programs.